Hi, and welcome to The Literary Sipper. I'm Amber Vitti Hill, your host, and today we're going to be talking about the doorways to creativity. I love doorways. I love them as a metaphor. I love them when I pass them on a cool city block. My father-in-law had a woodcarver come and carve beautiful relief sculptures into his doorways in his house in Idaho, and I respond to them as if they were Narnia. And I think that they can lead us into worlds that we've seen before, worlds that are unknown, that each room in our mind is marked by a doorway. And there's a poem by Donald Justice called Men at 40, which I refer to a lot in my work and in conversation. It is a poem I remember reading for the first time in the pages of a John Irving novel. And it was written in 1966 when my friend Tania Walsh of TaniaWalshYoga.com and I were planning our creativity workshop entitled Let Go and Begin. It was the poem that opened the session. And so I wanted to speak about it a little bit and also to speak about that work, the Let Go and Begin work, and also to speak about the doorways that you can open and close as the season begins to change here into the winter. So let's start with reading it first. Men at 40. Men at 40 learn to close softly the doors to rooms they will not be coming back to. At rest on a stair landing, they feel it moving beneath them now like the deck of a ship, though the swell is gentle, and deep in mirrors they rediscover the face of the boy as he practices tying his father's tie there in secret. And the face of that father, still warm with the mystery of lather, they are more fathers than sons themselves now. Something is filling them, something that is like the twilight sound of the crickets, immense, filling the woods at the foot of the slope, behind their mortgaged houses. And this melancholy tone of this poem, I, of course, love the sound of crickets, the mortgaged house, the face of a foregone father. But it is the first four lines that resonate the most in terms of one's creativity. Men at 40 learn to close softly the doors to rooms they will not be coming back to. That line has followed me in many, many ways and through many seasons and through many years. And I think that women at 40 begin to reopen those doors we close softly, maybe at the beginning of motherhood, maybe at the beginnings of careers where we put away creative enterprises or dreams of dance or dreams of painting or dreams of singing for favor of family, for favor of money, for favor of security. And then something happens where we begin to reopen those doors. We begin to knock at them gently. And sometimes we just fling them wide open and open up all the windows and dust it all out and air it all out and breathe new life into an old room. And men do this too. It's not to say that they don't. But I think in this poem, it is the idea that we believe at a certain age, certain feelings are no longer available to us. And we can open and close all of these doors and end up with a hallway of mazes for ourselves, where we can confuse where we want to be with where we are and where we were. And as you work through creativity as a process, you are constantly peeking and lurking and entering brazenly into all kinds of rooms where you're revisiting your old self with nostalgia and without embarrassment, where we have surprised ourselves as to who we have become or who we are still working towards being. And as we head into the shortest day of the year, where we might be writing by candlelight in the mornings, I'm asking you, can you shut down your door? Can you shut your door to self-doubt and embarrassment and have-tos and instead open the doors that lead to discovery, that lead to peace, that lead to beginnings, but also that lead to action and movement and momentum? Can you create momentum instead of resolutions this New Year's? I also wonder about the doorways themselves. You know, we Every season we change the decor. We add a different wreath. We put some pumpkins out or a Christmas tree or light the whole thing up. We change them with each season. So in this season of change, in this season of looking inward, can you change the door for yourself? Can you open something that has been locked for a while inside of you? And in our work together, Tania and I pair yoga with guided journaling and other creative practices for people to have these sort of full experiences of looking inward and then using what they find there to propel themselves outward in the world. And creativity being one thing that we want to share with the world. Whatever it is that speaks to your soul, find it, work with it, and then share it. So I'm going to tell you the first set of guided questions from that workshop that have to do with this idea of the door. And I would encourage you to take some time and use them for yourself and see what comes up for you, see what surfaces for you. And then maybe next season, you do those things. Or even better, maybe instead of stuff, instead of a cashmere sweater or new set of cookware or even beloved books, you ask for time, you ask for a space, you ask for a class to help you create the momentum you need to open the door to your creativity. So here are the 4 questions I would ask you. What door are you ready to open or to reopen? When you are in that space, what are you doing in that room? Do you see an old version of yourself or something new? When was the first time you felt creative? When was the last time you felt creative? Picture yourself at the precipice of that doorway, at the threshold of that doorway. Can you close the door on a room that no longer services you? A room that houses an old story of yourself, and instead open a new door, maybe to a room you've never been to, maybe to something that you've been to many times before. But can you come to it in a different way, in a different light, with a lightness of heart and the joy of the season? I hope you're all well, and I'll speak to you next week. Thanks for listening to The Literary Sipper. I hope you enjoyed this episode and learned something new. If you did, please subscribe and leave a rating and review if you're feeling especially generous. Until next time, keep reading, keep writing, and keep putting your voice in the world. It's waiting for you.